Hello everybody, welcome into Ghost Racing Network here tonight for the championship race in the NSRA Sunday Select Series. Got a special guest joining me in the booth tonight. You've seen him over in the PGR races, but he has joined us here for this championship event. Matthew Baker. Baker, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, ready for this 80 laps championship race. Long season for these guys, coming down to this one race, and you got these championship four ready to fight it out with Cody Nagels on the pole.
Going to be a lot of great racing, a lot of money on the line too, so it's going to be exciting. Let's start with your race info here tonight. We are at Talladega Superspeedway, 2.65 miles in length. Track temp today going to be 119 to start. Weather outside 75 degrees, 8% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and winds at 2 miles an hour. We are in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Of course, the NSRA Sunday Select Series does rotate between this and the trucks. However, we find ourselves here for the final race in the Xfinity Series. 80 laps tonight. Everybody's going to have 50% fuel. Expect them to go somewhere around 17 to 18 laps. Unlimited tires, 2 fast repairs, fixed setups, and there's going to be 2 green-white checkers if we were to need them. Jumping right into your starting grid, the man that got the pole, your teammate in Money Racing, Baker, Cody Nagels. Good start to his championship contention, if you will. Vicente Guerrero in second. Les Levy in third. James Mayer in fourth. Dana Osborne fifth. Chris Whitaker in sixth. Dawson Wise going to be starting seventh with Robert Jordan to his outside in eighth. Daniel Holloway and Joshua Gathright rounding out your top 10.
John Guerrera in 11th, David Overstreet in 12th, Donald Sadusky in 13th, Alex Giffen in 14th, Harold Rothery in 15th, Sean Wilder in 16th, Mark Mann in 17th, 18th you got Brian Kimbler and Bubba Winningham in 19th, Richard A. Sanchez in 20th, and then rounding out your field you got Lynn McNeese, and then not making the grid is one of the championship four, and that's Anthony English. I'm listening to the radio trying to hear what he's having. It sounds like he's having some internet issues.
And that is a tough break, man. You work so hard to get here, and then you have a problem on the one night that you don't want to have a problem. He might, if he can get in here before we get maybe 5 laps in, I guess you never know, but it's looking like he is going to need a miracle, and he's going to need one soon if he wants a chance to keep his championship hopes alive. So, might as well make it your championship 3, at least at this point, and we have them all abbreviated with a C in parentheses next to their name. There you see Cody Nagels, your pole sitter. Daniel Holloway back in 10th. Make sure you keep an eye on those two. And then the third guy to keep an eye on is going to be Mark Mann, who currently sits in 17th position. All those guys going to be battling it out for $300 if one of them could get the win. We'll talk more about those payouts as we move on. You can see track temp, at least according to this now, has actually dropped to 116 before we've even got started. We'll see how that factors in as this race goes on. Probably going to be at least 3 pit stops. But if we get a caution, that's going to change up the strategy. It's going to be a fun race. It's going to be exciting. You wanted some of the best that you can get in super speedway racing. You're going to find them right here in the NSRA Sunday Select Series. Into the travel we go. Pace car pulls off for the first time tonight in the championship race. Green flag is in the air for Cody Nagels. We're racing at Talladega. And your first lap looks like is going to go to Mayer. James Mayer in the 95 machine. Vicente Guerrero on the bottom with his teammate Cody Nagels. Got to feel like Cody has the advantage here. You know, interestingly enough, while Cody does have a teammate there in Vicente Guerrero, the other 2 championship contenders that are in here tonight, Daniel Holloway and Mark Mann, they're teammates. And that stirred up some questions about how are they going to go about deciding who's going to get the job done here tonight. Cody, of course, going for his second championship tonight. We'll see if he can get the job done And I can't really say we have a favorite, Baker. I mean, all three of these guys, what would have been four, they all earned their way to this point, and you know they're all going to have a great chance, but look at him 3 wide already here on lap 2.
Yeah, really good racing up front here. You got Gathright on the outside, leading that outside. You have Vicente Guerrero leading the middle, and James Meyer leading the inside line. Great racing up so far, and you see that top lane starting to really make some momentum. You got Holloway, one of the championship contenders, trying to push his way to the front here.
Going to be interesting to see how much pit stop breaks these guys up. Usually we see it kind of thin the herd, but again, the guys you're seeing in here, they really are the best of the best when it comes to super speedway racing. Usually, from what I've heard, average cautions only 2 to 3 over the span of 80 laps is very impressive. Here's that big run from the outside line, the 43 of Chris Whitaker, all but got clear. Vicente Guerrero couldn't quite do it. Meanwhile, the 95 of James Mayer has made his way down to the bottom now in front of Cody Nagels. But how about 3x3? You don't really have anybody sitting back too far. The last running car as it stands right now is Richard Sanchez in the 21. I think he's just kind of playing it safe, sitting back here. So are some of these other guys. David Overstreet, though, one of the last cars in that pack, still 3x3. One of the guys carrying an onboard cam for us here tonight. We'll have that up here in just a couple minutes. But up front, that outside line, they had them let him. Now they start to fade, but here's the move from Cody Nagels up to the middle with his teammate Vicente Guerrero.
Great push from Vicente. He's a great guy to race with. Love racing with him in some money races. And you see him get the run on the outside here. He's going to clear down Cody Nagels. Vicente almost gets clear to the bottom. You see Holloway's going to jump to the top lane. They're lined up. There's only 2 cars in the middle. They're stuck in a little bit of a sucker hole here. Robert Jordan doing a great job running up front here. And you've got the 98 as well coming up. Dawson Weiss in that Whataburger machine. That's a good-looking paint scheme out there.
And we already got, looks like, Mara Clark in the chat says, let's go 04. I know we had a couple people earlier. Mark Mann, one of the 3 championship contenders. He is actually one of those guys choosing to play the safe strategy right now. Again, you know, Baker, 2 faster pairs for 80 laps. That's quite a bit. You know, in my opinion, I like the idea of getting up here, getting aggressive, as we've already seen from Cody Nagels and Daniel Holloway. No surprise that both of these guys find themselves leading the way. But if you're Mark Mann here, maybe you're just trying to save a little fuel. Again, if these guys can stretch it to 20 laps, that would make it that even stop. They wouldn't have to go for an extra stop as, say, potentially some of your leaders here, such as Cody Nagels and Daniel Holloway, if they continue to lead for as long as they currently are. The 99 car, though, is starting to make a run. That's Alex Giffen on the top. He is the lead pusher. Seems like the inside, though, continues to be just a little bit more favored as the inside has all but disintegrated now.
Yeah, the inside just has more cars lined up. As you see Vicente pull out, just as I say that to the middle lane, looks like he had a little bit of a bobble with Cody there. That's going to check up both those lines, middle and bottom, and it's going to bring the top right back into the picture. But like I was saying is, you know, you have the cars lined up tighter in a group. You get a little bit better of a draft, and the bottom was doing really well. Now you're going to see the middle start to do the same thing, and the reason for that is because you have teammates lined up, and they're able to communicate and get those lines moving a little bit better.
I don't know if you saw that, but down into turn 1 and 2, and Cody made that move up. James Mayer, Baker, he almost did what we see in so many of these kind of races with that tunnel vision. Started to follow the 6 up, quickly was able to snap out of it, realized that Cody was indeed moving up, and he was able to stick to the bottom. Now he's got the lead there. Tell you what, Cody looks really confident here early. I feel like if you asked him, he certainly felt like he was the favorite coming in tonight. And so far, so good for the 6 car. If he can keep Vicente Guerrero up there, he's going to have a good run now. A couple more guys that he's got in the field tonight that are working with him include Dawson Wise and Robert Jordan. David Overstreet has a few teammates, and of course Daniel Holloway and Mark Mann. They're in a separate Discord tonight, Baker. So although we talked about that they're teammates, maybe they decided pre-race that, you know, hey, we can't really work together tonight. No point in trying to up to this point. Ooh, man, Daniel Holloway had all he could handle right there from the 99 of Alex Giffen. James Mayer right now trapped in the 95 on the bottom. Cody Nagels made that move back to the bottom. The 74 of Robert Jordan. See him in a couple of the other series I do, but man, he is looking strong right now in the middle. In fact, when Cody chooses, once he goes back up, as he's done a couple times, that gets 3 out of 4 of the Limitless teammates lined up, and Daniel Holloway strong on the top, but just can't seem to get up there yet.
A huge bobble from Meyer there in the tri-oval. Gathered it up. Cody came over the radio, said nice save. It was a good handling there, and he gets up into the middle lane, Cody, with Vicente lined up and Robert Jordan. I've never really seen Robert Jordan. I'd like to see him out in a money race, watching how good he's holding his line, and he's running really, really well right now with his teammates up in the middle lane.
These guys look like they feel, I guess I was going to say they look confident. But I mean, they certainly do, but the handling seems to be pretty good on all the cars right now, regardless of the track temp. We know the Xfinity cars tend to be a little bit looser, a little bit more darty than the trucks, which Cody, one of the drivers that's in the trucks, I would say most of the time with all the money racing he does, but these guys are making moves top to bottom, and the back end looks like it is nice and glued to the track. Nobody's had really any close calls yet, but I think as this race goes on, we're going to see guys willing to push the issue more when it comes to how hard are you willing to push. We've seen a couple of little taps throughout the corners, but right now you can see nobody's really pushing through the corners. I think if that top line decides to risk it, if they can make it work, they'll get up to the front sooner, but they're just not willing to do it down the back straightaway. That's when everybody really gets linked up. Got to keep an eye on those engine temps, though. We could be talking about those a lot tonight.
Absolutely. I think people are just trying to log laps here, get to the end of this race. You talk about the two fast pairs, people being more aggressive. You've seen the 3 wide, but you know what? People aren't being overly aggressive. They're making the lines go forward. They're trying that 3 wide, seeing what the third lane's going to get them towards the end of this race, and they're making all the right moves. No one's really driving over their head, and this is why it's one of the best series on Sunday nights.
Talladega is one of those tracks where, I mean, in my opinion, Baker, 3 wide itself isn't difficult to do. The question just becomes how racy are you trying to be while you're 3 wide. These guys look like they're racing, but not in the sense of fighting for every position right now. It just seems like the lines are cooperating kind of in unison to just see if they can get whoever's leading their line to the front. But as you said, nobody being too aggressive, although they remain 3 by 3. Mark Mann, the last running of the championship 3 right now, he still sits in the back. Meanwhile, up front, he had Cody Nagels continuing to try to lead up front. But as we go back, there's Mark Mann in 20th position. Richard Sanchez just behind him, and I think he's in an okay position. You don't want to fall too far back, but you can see them just hanging on. This first pit stop, though, it's going to be a telltale sign. We know with the Xfinity cars, Baker, it's not as crucial that you pit with the biggest pack. All you really need is maybe 2 or 3 more of your teammates, including yourself, and you're good to go as long as you put down some good laps.
Absolutely, and just as we talked about the bottom being super strong, now you're seeing that organization on the top lane trying to get around those 3 teammates in the middle, and it's just really killed the bottom. You see Cody's going to go back, support the bottom. A little bit of bobble there from Sandusky. Holloway a little out of shape there on the top lane. Everyone gathers it up. They're good to go now. That was a crazy moment coming out of turn 2, but like I was saying, Cody's getting down, giving some temps to Vicente there, and as you see that top lane trying to form right back up.
I don't know how Holloway saved it. He's still trying to save it. Oh, my goodness. They all have to check up on the third line. We got a couple guys diving to the inside. Looks like the 99 takes evasive maneuvers. They started with some issues on the backstretch, and then sometimes it'll take a lap or 2 to kind of get that rhythm back. You got to get comfortable back in the pushing position, and they just couldn't figure it out. Daniel Holloway did make some contact with the outside wall. As he comes by, though, it doesn't look like he's got much, if any, damage on that 21 Hershey's Kiss machine. I think he's gonna be good to go. These cars don't take damage as well as the trucks, but you can afford to get a couple scrapes, maybe doored a couple times, and you'll be just fine. And we are finally gonna simmer it back down to 2 wide, but for how long? I think everybody wants to take a little bit of a breather after the 10 laps or so of action-packed racing we had, and just like that, already 12 laps through. Hey, we are about 6 laps away from pit stops. When he crossed the line this time, I think that the front leaders, I would say the Limitless team, Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero, Robert Jordan, those are the guys that are, of course, going to have to pit first. Wouldn't be surprised if Dawson Wise, even, who currently sits in 9th, he decides to go in with them as well. Great racing as we see the 3 wide slowly starting to try to get fired back up.
Yeah, and you saw Darrell Holloway fall back from that top of 3, all that out of shape driving that have been going from getting the big pushes. He falls in line on the bottom. He's just going to try and ride. He knows there's a lot more on the line than trying to lead laps in the early part of this race, and he needs to be up front at the end of this when it matters.
And there's that third line getting some momentum down into turn 3 as the 62 continues to look up top. I think he's looked to see if he can get some help. The problem for him is as soon as he does that, Vicente Guerrero and Cody Nagels are going to choose to jump right back up to the top. At least I would assume. We know they like to keep as many teammates as possible with them, but there goes the run up top, and no, it looks like Cody and Vicente are going to stay in line where they are. They're just in front of the 95 of James Mayer. So one of their teammates, Robert Jordan, he's going to fall back. You can see the 3 wide right now, as unorganized as it is, has allowed the front probably 6 rows or so to start to pull away as they all remain single file. Out back, 2 by 2. Mark Mann is now in the last running position. Ooh, contact. We got one into the wall. That's a big hit. This is going to draw the first caution of the night. There it is. It's an incident involving 2, maybe 3 cars. The 8 of Dana Osborne is involved, and it looks like so is the 66 of Bubba Winningham. Mark Weir out here was rooting for Bubba. Tough break early, and looked like 2 guys just got together out of the turn. They were 3 wide, and things just started to tighten up. Let's take a look at it on the chopper cam. And it just, yeah, actually looks like a little bit of net code there, Baker. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like slight bit of net code.
Right rear net code there. They had to run the inside. 66 just trying to pinch down, get a little bit of side draft. You know, nothing, no harm, no foul there, but just collected with that net code, put him in the outside wall. Unfortunate there.
That's one of those things. I feel like we don't see it maybe quite as bad in the Xfinity Series at Talladega as we do at Daytona, but you always run that risk. And it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was a sudden movement from the 66, but he made a little bit of a move coming down, and iRacing, I guess, figured that he was going to hit him, and although he didn't, the wreck still ensued anyway. A couple more views of it. There's a look from the cockpit cam of Bubba Winningham. Take one more look from the wall cam here. And boy, that was a close call. Almost hit our camera. That's going to be a fast repair for at least one of those guys, maybe both of them. I know the 66 of Bubba had heavy damage. And surprising as it is, doesn't look like he's taken the fast repair yet, Baker. Not sure if they haven't made it into pits yet, but I got to assume he's going to have to use a fast repair. Looks like Dana Osborne on the other side of that still has damage in the back. Front, can't tell just how bad it is from this view. Let's see if we can look a little closer. I mean, 2 fast repairs, Baker. Do you think even if your damage isn't completely fast repair worthy, if you're being held back a little bit, I feel like you still got to take it.
Yeah, I definitely think you take it. You got 2 fast repairs for 80 laps. You know, it doesn't seem like a lot, but you and I both know that's a ton for 80 laps. So you definitely take the fast repair here, ride around a little bit, save that other fast repair up, and then go hard at the end.
Put it this way, these guys basically have 3 cars tonight. The car they started with, a backup car if they wreck, and a backup car for if they wreck the backup car. But the racing right there had looked really clean. I mean, nobody was doing anything too aggressive. We had a couple close calls there with Daniel Holloway on the top. But looking at the race out of pit road, looks like it's going to be Les Levy. Second, it's going to be Alex Giffen, Harold Rothery in third. Cody Nagels, currently the highest running of the championship, 4 in fourth. Vicente Guerrero, his teammate, 5th. James Mayer, 6th. John Guerra in 7th. Robert Jordan in 8th. Donald Sadusky in 9th. And Joshua Gathright currently rounding out your top 10. I'll tell you what, I know it's still pretty early, but we have your championship 4, so let's see if we can get an interview from each one of them at some point tonight. And let's go ahead and start with the current highest running one, Mr. Cody Nagels. Let's see if we can bring him up here for a quick word. Hey, Cody, this is Austin and Baker up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, it's looking like a pretty good start so far. The racing seems smooth, a little bit aggressive. What are you taking down in the notebook so far for the end of this?
I'm thinking it's going to be a fairly clean race. I don't know exactly what happened with that caution, but this race could just be maybe a 3-caution race-ish. So I want to keep my track position, and if we have a chance to break them on green flag pit stops, I'm going to try to do it. You know, my team's been running up front with me. So all the help that I really need to win this race or to have a chance at the championship, I'm getting all of it and some right now.
Well, let's talk about those green flag pit stops. We know the Xfinity cars are a little bit different than what we see in the trucks in the sense of you maybe don't need as many cars to go as fast. Is the strategy to try to break off with your team, or do you still go in with the bigger pack and hope that you just beat them out?
I think if I have a chance to go off cycle with my team, I'm going to at least look at the strategy and see how many cars we have, because I like the speed that we have as a team. So I won this championship last season off a little bit of pit strategy and breaking off sequence with the rest of the drivers. So if the opportunity arises again, I'm definitely gonna think about it. Thank you.
Gives a little thumbs up to the camera there. He knows that we're watching, keeping a close eye on him. And Baker, I mean, if you were in here, I like that strategy. Try to break it off with your teammates. If you know, maybe you can't get everybody on the first pit stop, but if you keep slowly making that gap between each pit stop, maybe by the final run, you'll be pulled away from the rest of the field, and it can be a battle just between you and your teammates, and you got the championship locked up.
Yeah, and I was really excited to see some fuel strategy there. People saving towards the back, especially Mark Mann, trying to save as much fuel as they could on that first run. It's the same thing I would do on this one, is try and save as much fuel as I could on this run, to try and make that last stop as short as possible to maybe build that gap on the money stop.
If we could have had that caution probably a couple laps later, the strategy would still be a lot closer than it is, but they didn't quite make it to lap 20. There's definitely guys on the apron, though, coasting, saving every drop of fuel that they can get. Don't think Cody's going to be worrying about that too much up front. He wants to lead him into pit road and come down with his teammates, try to pull away. Again, you know, if you're saving a little bit of fuel, that one less pit stop, it can make a big difference. I mean, Baker, even when these guys are not taking much fuel for that final stop, you figure it's still going to probably be, I would say, a good 30 seconds at least on the pits, if not more like 40. So definitely want to try to keep the track position. Robert Jordan in the 74 trying to get back up with his two teammates, and then Dawson Wise in 8th. He sits just behind Robert Jordan. If those two can get up and they can start to control the lanes, it's a little bit different though here in the sense of with them trying to help out Cody Nagels, they're not so much worried about controlling the lanes, at least not for now. They're more worried about just trying to keep Cody Nagels in front of their lane, and they have done a good job so far. Look at the long single file line. That is all guys that have topped off on fuel. We're going to see what strategies they decide to play this time as they roll back up to the Geico restart zone. Baker, take us away.
The green flags can come back out. A couple new faces coming up towards the front here in this race. Got Harold Rothery coming up here. John Guerrero making his way up here. We talked about Robert Jordan trying to make his way up here. He's got Dawson Weiss, his teammate, right behind him. Look for them to maybe jump 3 wide, get Cody to the middle, and control both those lanes. But not a very good start for the bottom line. 66 gets a little bit of a bump from Donald. He's going to make his way back up towards the middle, try and get both these lines tightened up as they're side by side down the back.
It's going to take all these guys probably about a lap or so to get all jumbled back up, all even. The question is who takes it 3 wide first, and it looks like we have a winner. That's going to be the 89 car of Joshua Gathright, and he is indeed going to get some help here. Looks like Brian Kimbler is on the bottom of these two, thinking about if he wants to jump up. I think he's going to. That's Donald Sadusky currently pushing him, and now it looks like Dawson Wise is thinking about going up top. They're going to go ahead and take him almost 4 wide for a second, but they narrow it back down to 3 as he's going to tuck back in line behind Robert Jordan. Already almost 20 laps in, and did not take long to get back to 3 wide. 3 on the bottom, 6 or more in the middle, and currently 3 up top. It looks like Daniel Holloway, he's going to jump up there. So is the 99. Track temp. Oh, we got a wreck. This is going to be the big one here as a couple spin around, and that's going to collect a handful of them as they spin down. The 11's involved. Back up the track. Looks like, can't tell who that is. It's backwards.
One of your championship contenders, Daryl Holloway, got into it as well. Got the 74 under him. Also, Mark Mann involved in this. This is big-time championship implications with these two. They're going to definitely have to use a fast spare, both Mark Mann and Daniel Holloway there.
I don't think you stress about it too much yet. You still have plenty of fast pairs left. You're only going to use one now, so maybe not plenty, but you know what I mean. Anyway, let's take a look back at the caution. And just a little bit too aggressive on the pushing for the 89. We talked about him trying to lead that 3rd lane. Looked like the 11 had eventually found his way up in front, and Joshua Gathright was trying to help them make some progress here, pushing in the corner. But Baker, these Xfinity cars, usually that's a no-no. You have to be perfectly square. And you see he was offset to the left, swipes back to the right, turns the 11 right around, up into Robert Jordan, who gets a little bit of airtime as Daniel Holloway runs it to him. There's Mark Mann with nowhere to go. Collects quite a few guys, including, as you noted, 2 of the 3 championship contenders early. Definitely going to change the strategy up for a little bit. Who knows? I think maybe these guys will simmer down a little bit for now after that. That was a big hit for Robert Jordan. That's a fast spare for sure. You see the front end was completely ripped off at one point.
Absolutely, and this is going to take the fuel strategy to where it's an even 2 stops from here, so definitely going to see everyone come down pit road here.
Taking a couple more views of it. Let's take a look from TV3 on it. Should give you a pretty good insight to just, you know, when you get turned, well, I guess I should say up or down into a pack. In the turns, there's usually nowhere to go because it all washes up the track before it washes back down. Man, I'll tell you what, the 62 car, I do not know how he found a way through all of it. That was an impressive job of driving. Actually, that might have been the 64. No, I think it was indeed the 62. We're trying to see if we can get an onboard replay of that. Because, man, oh, man, was that close. Yep, that's Les Levy Levy, excuse me. And I apologize. I'm going to have his name right, pronouncing it right by the end of the night. Watch the onboard cam here as he sees them all piling up in front, and he has to just find a way to get through it. See him check it up, and the wreck was all up top, but this is where it's going to all wash down. Has to make a couple of ace maneuvers. Wow, just misses the 11, and Robert Jordan staying to the top was the only thing that kept him from making contact with him. Well, we got our interview from Cody Nagels, and looks like we're still going to pace around. Actually, maybe I should double check that. I assume all these guys went ahead and came in to top off. I feel like you kind of have to. We'll see if they decide to. But yeah, looking at the pace car here, yeah, we still have one to go. So Baker, let's see if we can pull in your second championship contender, Daniel Holloway, who was just involved in that.
Hey, Daniel, it's Matt Nelson up in the booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, talk us through what happened in that wreck and what you saw in front of you. You've been running really good up front. Saw that, once you got shuffled back 3 wide after that first caution, you kind of got stuck behind all the madness. Talk to me through what you saw there and how many fast spares you got left.
Oh, that was my first one I had to use, but I was going to third line because I was going to be moving, saw the momentum going, and then I saw the 11 just got turned and a 74, and I just had nowhere to go, so I was just stuck on the outside against the wall, and that's all she wrote.
Well, you're running great up front. What's the game plan moving forward to save your car for the end of this race and be there at the end to compete with the other two for the championship?
I just want to say the other two guys, I wish Anthony, he's got internet issues, so, I do feel sorry for him not making it into the championship night. But those two guys that I'm fighting against, they're really tough. We're pretty darn even, all three of us. So there's some history as far as in this league where I'm a 2-time champion. Mark and Cody is going for the second one. So they're going to be tough.
Well, it'll be fun to watch. Hopefully see you up front there at the end, battling for that championship. Thanks for talking to us, Daniel.
Yep, thank you.
You gotta love the mutual respect that we've seen so far here tonight. Cody feels like they're gonna be tough. Daniel feels like they're gonna be tough. All these guys think that the other guys that they're racing are gonna be hard to beat. Second caution, I should say, a little bit earlier than we probably expected tonight. But again, that was another one of those things, just a little bit of a mistake. Again, thins the field a little bit here, and some of those guys happen to use their fast pair. I think it'll simmer things down a little bit more again. Looking at the top 5, it's going to be Cody Nagels in first, Vicente Guerrero second, James Mayer in third, John Guerra in fourth, Joshua Gathright currently rounding out your top 5.
Well, I hope I dragged Daniel right back into the right Discord. I put him with another team, but I think he'll get it sorted out.
Say it every day. The hardest part about doing the broadcast up here is dragging these guys back to the right Discord. I struggle with it all the time. So don't worry about it. But hey, we appreciate you joining us here tonight, Baker. And of course, things still getting worked out as for now, at least for a little while. For as far as we know, Ghost Racing Network is going to be the home for next season for the NSRA Sunday Select Series. Got some things that we're working on. We might see Dawson up here some weeks as well. Just depends on how everything plays out. But if you're new here and you're enjoying what you're seeing tonight, feel free to let us know, whether that be in the form of like, comment, subscribe, or hey, even just you out here watching tonight. Glad to see everybody out enjoying their Sunday night watching the championship race. Of course, the new season starts right back up next weekend. First off week is going to be Labor Day coming up, and I think it's about five weeks from now or so. So we'll take a break then. But right now, single file line out back. Fuel strategy, I feel like it's got to be a lot more certain at this point, Baker, as you noted. Do you think that makes the racing more aggressive or maybe a little less aggressive? And I think Baker has stepped away for just a moment. But in my opinion, I think that's got to make the racing a little bit more aggressive. Guys know that they don't have to worry about saving any fuel. And with that wreck that we saw right there, I think that proves the idea that being in the front is the safest place to be. That's where Cody Nagels finds himself for this restart. Green flag is back in the air. 23 laps complete here in the season finale for the NSRA Sunday Select Series. Good start for Vicente Guerrero and Cody Nagels, but no push right now for the inside. Cody waiting for the 88 of John Garrett to get up to his back bumper. Meanwhile, the outside already well organized. They're going to have a big run down the backstretch. Can Cody hold off the momentum? Yeah, they're still not lined up yet. At 95, here's the big push, and watch, he is just going to go flying by here. Those two locked up. No, I take it back. Cody's actually holding on pretty strong here on the inside. I guess the Xfinity cars, the run's just not quite as big as the trucks, and you're going to need more than just 2 cars to get that run really built up.
Chris Whitaker taking a look to the outside. Dawson Weiss coming up behind him. Yeah, I stepped away there for a little bit, make sure I put Daniel back in the right Discord, and he's good to go. So back in the Discord with his team, trying to fight back up front. All the lanes are clogged, though. Not many places he can go. He's going to look to the middle, try and gain as much positions as he can. As you saw Whitaker trying to get that run on the outside with Dawson Weiss giving him a good push.
So I would assume we're expecting the next pit stop somewhere around, what, lap 40?
Yeah, I'd say lap 40. It's about 20 to 21 laps of tank here. 21 if you're saving in the back, 20 if you're out front. So that leaves you about a lap short when it comes down to the end. But I think these guys will be able to save fuel enough. And we've seen the cautions out towards the back. You know, we talk about how clean this racing series is, but when money's on the line, people make some more different moves that you wouldn't necessarily see, especially going for a championship and talking about wanting to get that second chance. You see the 88 fall of Vicente up. Vicente gets turned. They're wrecking towards the inside, and the caution's going to come out.
And didn't catch the front end of that, but we certainly caught the tail end. Holloway's going to sneak through that one, but yeah, that's a tough break for Vicente Guerrero. Cody did not want to see that talked about before the race. One of the biggest things he had to do was try to take care of his teammate and keep him up there for the end. But now it looks like Vicente Guerrero is going to have some work to do to get back to the front. 3rd caution of the night. Let's go back and take a look at it. This one did happen pretty much at the front. Yeah, actually right at the front. And Cody's going to be the only one to sneak away unfazed. And they're going to start bouncing off of each other. Is this going to potentially be some more of that tunnel vision talked about? Let's see.
Absolutely.
And yep, sure enough, the 88 just following him up. It is crazy, man. We see more and more of that. Nothing that you really put on anybody specifically doing anything wrong. It just catches everybody off guard, and seems like we have seen it cause at least one wreck just about every speedway race we've commentated now for the last few weeks. There's the 88 back up to the track. Ooh, big hit for Robert Jordan, and that's bad news because I think Robert Jordan already used a fast repair, and now, as early as it is, he's going to have to use his second one, so he really does have to be careful now. I think that's going to be a fast pair as well for John Guerra. We talked about Daniel Holloway, though, slipping through. Let's take a look. Watch the 21. Going to go low, and they just kind of split the seas apart for him. Boy, he picked the right time to go to the middle right there. And, of course, Cody Naegels up front was the first guy ahead of that wreck that didn't get involved in. Looks like Dawson Wise is still going to be pretty close to his teammate. Not sure if he's going to line up right behind him. I don't think he is. I think he's going to be on the outside, but that's going to be Cody Naegels' next best shot here to give himself a little bit of security. But as we go back up front, Cody is still leading the way. I'm surprised to see pit stops right here, Baker. What do you make of this?
Yeah, not really surprised. I think that you're looking for people to fill up and get as less fuel as possible for each stop. Try and make it towards that end, like we talked about. Save as much fuel as you can to that money stop. So, and I'm not really surprised to see Cody Naegels gets off pit road first. Chris Whitaker right behind him. But yeah, I think everyone pitting here is the right call. Get the fuel. You have multiple stops to go, and you can try and get hooked up with your teammates a lot easier in pit road to just stay in your pit box and try and get hooked up with as many teammates as possible.
David Overstreet, maybe with a little strategy. Currently, he is being scored as the leader. There he is in the bottom right of your screen, and we've talked to 2 out of 3 of them. Mark Mann was another one of the guys that made it through that last caution. He is on the pits, currently topping off on fuel. Has a clean car, but he did have to use that fast pair earlier. Let's see if we can get a quick word with him. Hey, Mark, this is Austin Baker up in the booth. You got a copy?
What's up, Austin Baker in the booth?
Well, man, we're watching you. It seems like you've had to try a couple different strategies so far tonight. Tell us about the first run and how you've had to adjust after that first caution that you were involved in.
Well, I was hanging out in the back, and then I got destroyed. Everybody was wrecking in front of me, and I unfortunately got collected in that. So I need to race farther in the back to try to avoid the next one.
Well, we haven't got to see any green flag pit stops just yet. Now, the other question we have is from at least what we are told. It sounds like you and Daniel Holloway are teammates, but if it comes down at the end, I got to assume you guys can't be teammates in a race like tonight. So how do you go about sorting that out?
Well, he's definitely going to pass me if it's the situation presents itself. So I'm going to have to think of that mentality as well. I'm going to have to try to pass him, but I'm going to have to get up to the front here. I mean, this is This is going to be an interesting strategy. I need a green flag pit stop to hopefully get the field spread out and get some of these cautions under control here. It just looks like some simple things are causing the wrecks, and we'll get it straightened out here. We'll get some green flag runs a run in here, hopefully.
All right, well, Daniel has 2. Cody's going for 2, and so are you, so we'll see who can come out victorious. Good luck the rest of the way. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
And I was going to say, I'll let Baker do the honors because I do not know where I'm dragging people around in this Discord, but he's going to top off on fuel again, just doing the strategy that you said, Baker. The less you have to take on that last stop, the better. He's one of the guys that wants to see green flag stop, and I don't know. They continue to stay aggressive up front. Nobody seems to be phased, but a couple guys such as Robert Jordan, they're out of faster pairs, so I really think you got to think about starting to simmer down a little bit.
Yeah, it's the last race of the year. I get it. Everyone wants to go for the win, and on a high note. But you definitely need to take it a little bit easy. You know, they were taking it a little bit easy the first 10 laps, and then they started to ramp it up, testing 3 wide. It was great. But like Man said, just some simple mistakes that everyone needs to clean up, and they'll get it done. And it's a great racing series, and it's going to be another great finish to one of these races.
Certainly is. Can't wait to see what some of these guys are willing to do at the end. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with a green flag stop at the end and all of a sudden coming to 5 to go. Your top 3 are Nagels, Holloway, and Mann. We'll just have to see how it all pans out. Lights are off, so we are going to go green this time. Log single file line again. All those guys that did top off on fuel. Looking at, let's go ahead actually, since we have a chance real quick, take a look at the next place that we had here on Ghost Racing Network. Monday to the Irish Hills for the Michigan 200. For the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series. That is going to be a good one. Make sure you don't miss out. And then, of course, Tuesday Night Thunder. Might see Matthew Baker in that race. And then back on Thursday in the booth, Matthew Baker joins me for PGR's Thursday Night Heat Series. Boy, you talk about a heck of a race from what we saw last week with that race. 40 laps of green flag racing and a great finish to end it all. Cody Nagels, of course, got the win in that. But you know he really, really wants to get the win here tonight. Pace car is going to pull off. 27, going to be 28 of 80 laps complete when we cross the line this time. Still expecting that 2-stop, Baker, but would you rather take less fuel on this first stop or the second stop?
Yeah, I think you take less fuel on the second stop. It's really where you can separate yourself. First stop's a little bit more difficult, especially at Talladega as the green flag's going to come out. But no, I just think it's a little bit harder to separate yourself on that first stop, especially at Talladega with the banking and being able to catch up to the draft. You saw in that restart, 66 really didn't get that good of a jump. That's going to separate these 2 packs. If these guys could line up on the bottom, try and push, they could try and maybe get separated, but the 11's going to fall back and act as that bridge that you talk about.
Looks like Dana Osborne is currently 3 wide in the middle of Joshua, who's actually going to go ahead and jump right back down. And the 99 is actually Alex Giffen, the one who jumped back down in line. Yeah, maybe those guys could have thought about pulling away, but they're not going to be able to now as they quickly get back to side-by-side. The 43 of Chris Whitaker leading that outside. And it looks to me like the 19 is looking like he wants to push even through the turns. Donald Sadusky, you saw the 43 getting a little wiggly right there through 3 and 4. He was able to hold on. But, man, you got to wonder how long he can do that for. The outside and the tribal a little bit more stable than the inside is when it comes to pushing. But so far, Cody has looked like the guy that maybe you want to push the most. But we haven't got a chance to see too many lead changes so far tonight after the couple quick cautions that we had. And here comes a big run from Holloway and the 91 up atop.
Holloway trying to give a good push. Dawson White's going to jump up to the high lane. Holloway may fall in line a little bit squirrely through the exit of 2 there, but they're going to go 3 cars on the top. Holloway's going to fall back to the middle, not support the teammate of Cody Nagels, and fall back into that middle lane. But you can see a little bit of separation of the packs. There's about 2 different packs. There's 3 falling way back with Robert Jordan rounding out the field, but I think they will be able to catch the draft. All our championship contenders are in this lead draft. You see Mark Mann rounding it out in the middle of that 3 wide, and you see Cody Nagels leading and then Holloway in the middle.
Robert Jordan going to be the first victim of the going a lap down here tonight. Good thing is he is, of course, the only guy lapped down, so he's still in that lucky dog position. Mark Mann currently in the middle, further back. I don't know if he likes to be in that position. He said jokingly he needs to go further back. Well, right now he is in probably the danger zone, if you will, 3 wide, and he's the only guy in the middle for now. Looks like the 89 is thinking about giving him a little push, and now he's going to get clear the inside. He is going to go ahead and take it Meanwhile, up front, they're still dicing it around. We could have a lead change. Sure enough, we do. How about Chris Whitaker in the 43 now leading on the bottom here at Talladega?
I think Cody just really needs to have a cool head here because you got 3 wide separated after 10 cars, and maybe you can get some separation, but man's going to be able to get that draft. I'm just looking to see if maybe they can get a separation with all this racing that's going on towards the back part of the field, but they're all able to gather back up, and we'll be up 2 wide going into the turn here.
31 laps down. Of course, that caution did push us out a little bit further, Baker. So what are we looking at now? Probably 40, 45 maybe?
We went green with 27, so I think you can get to lap 40, 45, 47, but I think maybe you could short pit both of these. See Holloway with a huge run, takes the lead. He has no help on either side. I mean, he had a massive run on the 3rd lane, and that was a great move by him taking the lead here.
How did he make that work? I was sitting there trying to contain myself as that move was going on the 3rd lane. It was just him and Sean Wilder, 2 cars with a big push, and he cleared not by inches, but by quite a few feet in front of both your leaders. Got a little bit of a jump. Sean Wilder has to fall back, but hey, if I'm Daniel Holloway and I'm looking for a good pusher later, I know who my go-to is going to be. My goodness, what a move from Sean Wilder and Daniel Holloway. Cody Nagels, you can tell he doesn't like what he sees. He wants to get back out in front and lead this championship for battle. How about Mark Mann? He's about 6 rows deep on the bottom, trying to get up here as well. As we're going to go 3 wide, the 62 up top. Does Sean Wilder follow these 2? As it looks like going with him is going to be the 46 of David Overstreet. Haven't got to talk about him too much tonight, but it looks like he's ready to start flexing some muscle.
I'm Cody Nagels. I start taking every run I can, teammate or not. Try and get up to the top of 3. Do that same move that Holloway did. You saw how much momentum they had. The bottom's broken up, and you leave out 1 car in the middle, you can really get a big run. The bottom lane has 4 good cars lined up on the bottom, but Richard Sanchez has that damaged left front on the 5th lane. As you see, a little bit of stack up. The 84 touches the 8, gets down to the middle. He's fine, though. They save it. Another good save by these cars out here. You see Cody Nagels go to the top 3 wide. He's going to try that same move. The thing is they weren't hooked up whenever he made that move. Before, Holloway was hooked up on the back bumper and of Wilder, and that was why they were able to get such a good run through the backstretch, but there it didn't work out. He didn't come up, nearly with enough time for the 62 to be on his back bumper.
And I'll tell you what, though, he was all but clear of the middle lane right there. He probably could have taken it, but as close as it was, maybe felt like it was a little too early to risk it. But now he is still up top, so he's still got to push from the 62. The 11 of Harold Rothery is going to finally lose the lead. He's now the lead pusher of that middle line, currently being led by the 19 of Donald Sadusky, having a great run so far. Daniel Holloway still on the bottom. Whitaker just behind him in the 43 to 95. We've seen him up here most of the night. And how about Richard Sanchez? I believe he still has his damage on the front. Let's take a look. And yeah, sure enough, he's got heavy damage on the front, Baker. I'm amazed that he's still up here in the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. You see the run on the top lane. Cody Nagels going to clear to the middle. Great push from Les Levy there. Overstreet behind him, giving Levy a shot. The 8 is tucking up to David Overstreet. You see Sandusky getting to the back of Cody. Holloway's clear to the middle line. He's going to stay tucked to the bottom and doesn't really want to make that move this early into the race, but a lot of lane swapping going on here. Great racing up front. 3 wide. Everyone's keeping it together.
Well, I had noted that Mark Mann was making his way towards the front. He has now decided to flip that over as he has fallen all the way to the back, and you can tell it's by design. He is just making sure he hangs on to the draft and not getting any closer than that as Cody Nagels reclaims the lead here in the race and in the championship battle, takes it away from Daniel Holloway, who's now in second. And it's almost like 3 different strategies from 3 different guys, right? I mean, you had Cody going straight from the get-go. You had Holloway, who kind of played it maybe a little safe at the start. Now he's ready to go. And then you have Mark Mann, who's been playing it safe for the most part. Oh, that was close. Almost some contact there as Whitaker almost got it into Sadusky. Holloway thought about jump to the middle, thinks better of it. Now he's going to do it. That's going to leave Cody Nagels on an island by himself. Who wins the race to the bumper first? Looks like Sadusky's going to get there first. Big push now from the 21. Nothing Cody can do. He's just going to have to watch the 21 scoot right on by.
Sadusky's also going to get clear. Watch them to both drop to the bottom. Maybe Levy goes to the middle here. It's going to really shuffle Cody out. Levy's clear. Overstreet's not. Levy's going to stay up, though, with Overstreet. 11's going to get a good run. Maybe get clear of Cody. He's not clear yet. Cody's going to get the run back to the 19, but they are tandem up front, and it's going to provide a huge run for these guys in the middle and top lane back to him. Cody's getting a great run, too, trying to get to the 11. 11 a little bit out of shape. He gathers it back up, but Cody is clear to the middle now. He has no support. Levy gets clear to the middle. Cody's going to jump up. Maybe Levy jumps to the bottom, but Cody does jump up to the top. Levy's staying tucked to the bottom.
And that's got to be really, really frustrating for Cody falling back that far. You know he's going to be really aggressive to get back to the front here in a pretty short time frame here. But just like that, he had made the move to the outside, and now he is back at the front side by side with Holloway. But that's why it was so important for Cody to keep his teammates up there. Vicente looks like he's chosen not to use one of his fast repairs. Oh, man, almost another one of those cases of the 62 following the 6 right down into the door of the 21. Overstreet up top, but as I was just talking about, in Vicente's case, if he's fast enough to be up there and stay competitive, maybe I do like the call. Even big wreck! Oh, upside down goes to 14. Back on all 4. David Overstreet's in it. Big contact for him. The 95, the 84, Robert Jordan, Richard Sanchez, Brian Kimbler. That was a huge wreck, Baker.
Yeah, it's one of those jump scare wrecks. You could definitely, if we go on board with Vicente Guerrero, he has no idea it's coming, just gets waylaid in the right rear and turned on his side almost.
And let's look from the chopper cam. And does somebody get a bad push? Oh, it's a stack up. Tell you what, man, another one of the things that you see at these super speedways. And Overstreet had a big run on Dawson. He's going to have to check up a little bit here. And then you're going to see the 8 car of Dana Osborne just not quite able to check up time. Sends the 46 into the outside wall. Then he gets clipped back down low. Don't know how the 14 didn't go over Overstreet. He almost goes over as well. Looks like all in all it's going to collect 5 cars. And I would say 3 out of those 5 have pretty heavy damage. Just got to think Vicente here is going to have to use a fast repair. As he got, hey, I'll tell you what, if we were awarding extra points tonight for airtime, he would certainly have gotten some right there. My goodness.
Just to add insult to injury, after Mayer takes that shot from Vicente, he gets waylaid towards the back half of the crash as he's locking it down.
A couple more views of it. But again, Vicente, by not using the fast repair yet, this is kind of what he was, I wouldn't say expecting, but he was hoping that if this happened, it would happen while he had some damage, which it did. So I think at this point, he will go ahead and use that first fast repair now. But again, it's better than if he had to have wasted it earlier, use it now, and he would definitely be in a lot more trouble as he would only have, well, he would have no fast repairs left because he'd be using his second instead of his first. Let's take 2 more angles of it here. First from the wall cam. And then let's, of course, ride on board with Vicente Guerrero's. He went for what's potentially going to be the wildest ride of the night right there. Big air time, the 14. Here you go. And let's back that up a little bit further. There we go. I'll tell you what, there's nothing you can do. If he had the force feedback turned up, that might have caught his wrists a little bit. That was so quick. No matter how hard you try to steer, you're not getting out of that one. Back up front, though, Cody Nagels gets the lead off of pit road. Les Levy in second. Donald Sadusky third. Chris Whitaker fourth. Harold Rothery in fifth. Daniel Holloway sixth. Dawson Wise seventh. Bubba Winningham in eighth. Alex Giffen ninth. Sean Wilder rounding out your top 10. And as the championship 3 now, it was championship 4, of course, but Anthony English with internet issues did not make the race tonight, so we might as well narrate to championship 3. Nagels leads it, Holloway in second, and Mark Mann third in that battle. He is back in 17th position. And oddly enough here, Baker, it looks like Vicente's still on the pits. Not sure if he had
just about to note that he looks like he's fixing his damage. I don't know if he maybe accidentally used a fast repair in one of the pit stops after one of the cautions that he wasn't involved in, but either way, he's down here fixing his damage. Maybe he's playing the long game. He knows that there's been a ton of cautions, and it's just not going to stop. So maybe he's trying to save that fast repair because he knows he's going to need it at the end.
Potentially. I mean, another thing I would like to maybe initially guess was that, you know, he doesn't have to really stay on the lead lap if he's just focused on helping his teammate. But, I mean, there's payouts for the top 10 tonight, so I would certainly want to have a chance at him, even helping a teammate or not. And The further he can run towards the front, the higher the payouts are going to be. In fact, I think we actually have those payouts listed here, Baker. How are they looking for tonight?
Yeah, so for tonight, you've got first place, you got $300, second place, $200, and at third place, $150. Fourth place is going to be, one second. Fourth place is going to be $75. Fifth place is going to be $60. Sixth place is also going to be $60. Seventh place, eighth place, and ninth place is going to be $30, and 10th is $25. So, a top 10 payout for a championship race. Everyone's really trying to get up there and be in the money. They haven't ran for the money the whole season, and now it's like a little mini money race, and people are trying to get up front and get that money back.
And I'll tell you what, 50% of the field is going to be going home with money in their pockets tonight, so that's a pretty good deal there. Halfway through the race, and you saw most of the field come down to top off right here. And now, Baker, it's still looking like it's going to be a one-stop from here, it looks like. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you might have to save a little fuel here if you didn't top off there and you're planning on leading the rest of the way.
Well, I think if Cody plans to lead the rest of this way, he needs someone in front of him so he can save some fuel, because I'm telling you right now, he is not going to make it on a one-stop race. Everyone behind him is going to be really close, but he is at least one lap short, so he's going to need to do some major saving. I think he's just banking on that caution, like we talked about with Vicente having to go in, take his damage because he thinks the caution is going to keep rolling. So if he gets one more caution, all he needs is a good pit stop, and then wait for that last pit stop to come around lap probably 60, 61.
Well, Vicente is still being scored on the lead lap, so no harm, no foul there. Fortunately, Robert Jordan doesn't look like was able to get his lap back yet. He is still being scored one lap down, waiting to see if he can get the lucky dog or the free pass. Or the wave around, excuse me. Lucky dog or the wave around. But your top five as it's being scored, Cody Nagels, Les Levy, Chris Whitaker, Harold Rothery, and Dawson Wise, they are going to be the five leading us to green as the lights are off this time. And I think we'll probably get back to 3 wide pretty quick here, as we're going to be just over halfway when we take the green here again.
Yeah, it looks like Robert Jordan, whenever he goes to avoid the wreck, oh man, it sounds like he just went to shift down into third, and when he shifted down to third, up into third, he shifted into first, and it just spun the car out. So he definitely had some incidents there.
That is a tough break to keep him from getting lucky dog. Good news is he is still the only guy a lap down, so he'll be okay if we get another caution, assuming he's not involved in it. Green flag is back in the air for Cody Nagels and Les Levy. 62 not with the best restart. That's going to allow the 6 of Cody Nagels to try to start to pull away a little bit. He might be clear of the top if he wants it, but he's going to stay down low where he knows they're all lined up. Only 2 cars up top. The 11's going to have to get there soon. Otherwise, they are going to go way to the back. Harold Rothery and Les Levy off of turn 2, side by side. The second and third row is. Cody Nagels likes what he sees in his mirror, but here we go. Now the outside's going to get some support as the 43 of Chris Whitaker. He jumps up top of Cody Nagels, and here we go. This is what Cody wants to see. First time now that he's going to get a teammate back behind him since Vicente Guerrero wrecks, and it's going to be in the form of Dawson Wise in the 98 machine.
I thought we were about to see some strategies, some people falling back, trying to stay in line and save that fuel, but ate my words pretty quickly as you see them getting 2 wide already, trying to push towards the front. Cody would be okay if Whitaker clears down. He could save a little bit of fuel and still be up front, keeping that track position. You see the 91 go to the outside. 62 of Levy also goes to the outside. Huge run from the 91 coming to the 62's back bumper. Donald's going to jump in front of the 66. We're 3 wide as the front 2 are going to pull away on the bottom.
Yeah, if there was a lesson to be learned, I don't know what it is, because none of these guys seem to have learned it. Sean Wilder, keep a close eye on the push that the 91 delivers to the 62. We saw how easily he was able to get Holloway to the front when he was pushing. We'll see if he can do the same thing here with Les Levy. Middle lane starting to fade a little bit as Holloway and Whitaker don't have any help. Meanwhile, on the bottom, Cody Nagels and Dawson Wise continuing to chug on. Oh, man, the 11 washes up just a little bit there, almost slight contact. Mark Mann still hanging around in the back. Richard Sanchez, a couple of these other guys. And based off what we saw earlier, we got a couple more cars now that are forced to hang out in the back, of course, because they don't have a fast pair or only have one faster pair left. And I'm telling you, Baker, I just saw a great push from Sean Wilder. I think this third lane may have all they need to get clear on the backstretch.
Oh, Holloway got really squirrely there, getting to the back bumper of Chris Whitaker. And there's 3x3x3 going down the backstretch here. Huge push from the 91. 91's got a lot of great pushes in him, and he is looking to clear less, just like he did the same to Holloway.
Well, I like to say he's got a rocket ship tonight, but everybody's got a rocket ship. We're on fixed setups. If you don't have any damage, then everybody without damage should be running the same speed as you. That's what makes these super speedways fun, because it just comes down to who can push harder at the right times. Looking a little bit more organized. The 3 wide only goes back about 3 rows. The middle starts to prevail a little bit. Holloway would really like to see that 43 get clear, drop down in front of Nagels. But I'm surprised to not see Sadusky or anyone else back here jump down or up to that middle line to help him out. Everybody's still staying either on the bottom or the top for the most part.
Yeah, and that's communication piece through the Discords, people working together, trying to get their teammates up front. But, you know, Cody's just sticking to the, well, he just goes up to the middle line. I keep eating my words every time I go to say something. That was an excellent move by Cody. Not much room to fit it in between there. Get in front of Holloway, get to the bottom, leave out his teammate, but his teammate's going to be third in line on the bottom supporting it, and the 43 is going to have to push Cody here on the bottom.
Doesn't have a choice. Now, this next pit stop, I think if you're wanting to make it on just one stop, Baker, you're going to have to make it to at least lap 60, maybe going to 61. What are you thinking?
Yeah, you're going to have to get it to 61 coming to 62, so I only think there's a couple cars back here that are going to make that work, and Mark Mann is going to be one of them. You see Mayer also back there, and Richard Sanchez, all people working with Mark Mann. I think they're going to try and get to that one stop, and it's really going to be difficult for this group to catch up with them.
Well, I got to be honest. If I'm a driver out here at this point, I think I like Mark Mann's strategy in the sense of, I know that we've seen quite a few cautions here tonight in terms of what they're normally used to at probably the halfway point in the race, but if we end up not getting a caution here and you can save that fuel, in this case Mark Mann's instance, you're going to win the race. I mean, it's that simple. You got to, of course, have a couple other guys with you that can make it on fuel, but nobody's going to have to run so off pace that extra pit stop, even running at full speed, is going to be enough to make up the time you're going to lose. So while Cody and Holloway continue to run really fast up front, I like Holloway just staying back there, saving enough fuel, and if he can make it to that lap 62 mark and we have a green flag stop, I think he's going to switch into that favorite position, whether he's got the lead at the time or not.
Absolutely. The only thing that could really mess up that strategy is them pitting, getting the fuel that they needed, and then immediately coming back down 3 laps later, getting about 1.7, 1.8 gallons of fuel. As you see the 43 get loose, Cody shoving through the corners like he's in the trucks. Can't really do that in the Xfinity cars. As long as that person holds a good line through the corner, you can make that work, but you can't stay hooked on the back bumper all the way through the corner.
Boy, Cody is amped up. He wants that second championship tonight. Looking to go back-to-back, see if he can tie and go even with Holloway in terms of championships. And I'll tell you why he was pushing hard, because he saw the outside push a little harder. Ooh, some contact. Everybody's got to hold it together here. Dawson Wise looked like slid up into the 89 for just a second. All of a sudden, handling looking to be an issue, but not for Cody Nagels. He moves right up to the middle, and now he's going to get a push, looking to see if he can make another charge to the front. 47 laps completed. See if we can get a crank it up segment in. Here we go. And that's going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope you did enjoy. The action did not take a break, even though we did. Up front, Daniel Holloway, Cody Nagels have continued to trade blows here on who wants to lead. Meanwhile, the 62 clip in the apron, Dawson Wise has to follow. There goes Cody right back down to the bottom. He is on a mission, continuing to make every single move that he can make to get himself back to the lead. Here comes a push up top, though, from Sean Wilder on Donald Sadusky. That might get the 19 clear. In fact, it does for just a second. Does Sadusky take it? He does. He's going to move down to the middle, has the option to go low, and he is. Boy, I'll tell you what, Baker, every time Cody gets clear, he gets trapped right back where he started.
Absolutely. The 91s gave him great pushes on the outside line, like we talked about earlier in the race. And if I'm anyone in this field that's a championship contender that's not Cody Nagels, I am looking for the 91 to push me on the top lane. It happened with Holloway. If man gets up front, it's going to happen with him. That 91 is really content with pushing anyone to the lead here on the outside lane.
Making friends for next season. Hey, you need them wherever you can get them. Looks like Baker's mom's in the chat. Actually, let's see who we got in here. Mara Clark, we talked earlier. She's in here rooting people on. Marvin Overstreet says, go David Overstreet. Mark Weir says, go Bubba. Baker's mom says, let's go Cody. Luke Holman, let's go Cody. And Donalda Adams rooting on Cody Nagel. So Cody's got quite the fan base going here so far. But up front, Daniel Holloway is leading the championship battle right now between your championship three. Of course, fourth one didn't make it in. Mark Mann in last, Cody Nagels in second. And you can see they're really trying to get that third lane back going. They're not quite up there yet. Baker no, actually a little bit more. I would say 11 laps or so away from that green flag pit stop. Can we make it to be the only one tonight if we can?
Cody's got to save some more fuel if he wants to make that number. I think Mann's good. Vicente's definitely good. He saved, and now he's trying to get up front, get hooked up with his teammate, try and get them all in that same fuel strategy. Dawson Weiss is going to need to get in line here pretty soon. But, you know, track position has been king this entire night. Cody Nagels has led most of this race. Now he's marred back in traffic trying to push Sandusky, but I think right now the biggest thing for him is now that he's third in line on the bottom is just to save some fuel here.
Daniel Holloway, the driver out of Merrill, Wisconsin, has, of course, already 2 championships. Looking to see if he can make it a third one here tonight. Boy, wouldn't that be sweet. Mark Mann, Cody Nagels looking to tie him up. And then next season, let's say Cody or Mark wins their second one tonight. That would make next season's championship extremely interesting if we saw these same 4 in it. Looking to make it a 2-2-2 battle. 2 across the board for all 3 of them. Up top, looks like we got 1, but I think that was by design. Trying to figure out who that was. That's the 8. Gonna fall back. Dana Osborne must not have liked what it was looking like towards the front. Further back, Mark Mann still in line by himself. Richard Sanchez. All these guys staying back, playing it safe, saving any extra fuel. I think we'll hear some noise later from Richard Sanchez. I think he's just choosing to play it smart and play it safe for now. Holloway leading down to turn 3, and man, Nagels is now back 4th in line, but it seems like he's simmered down, Baker. I think he did exactly what you said. I think he's looked at the fuel, realized that maybe there's a chance we do get to that green flag stop, and he realizes he's really got to save here for these next, I would say, 9 laps or so.
Absolutely. You got James Meyer, you got Mark Mann and Richard Sanchez all lined up together in the back. They're about 2 car lengths off each other, saving as much fuel as possible. You've seen Cody also doing the same thing way off Dawson Weiss. I think he's going to try and get Vicente clear either in between them or in front of Dawson. Try and save as much fuel as they can. Stay tucked up on each other's bumper. If these front guys have to pit, they'll go 1 more lap and try and separate themselves.
Vicente Guerrero was really fast early. Saw him fall to the back after being involved in an incident. Had damage for a while, got involved in another big wreck where he almost got upside down. And since then, he did finally decide to take that faster pair, and you can see that the speed has returned for the driver of the number 14. Still working the middle behind the 89. But all of a sudden, all the energy that we saw throughout most of this run, Baker, it seems like it's starting to die down. You got more guys starting to slowly migrate their way to the bottom line. It tells me that guys are realizing it's time to maybe start setting up for a green flag stop and saving a little bit of fuel to hit that number. But Sean Wilder, I think he's one of the guys, I just don't see any way he makes that number right now. He has been working that third lane with only two cars. You know he's burning a ton of fuel.
Yeah, he's burning a ton of fuel. Daniel Holloway's been burning a ton of fuel up front. Sandusky's not cutting him a break. He's been on the back bumper of Holloway this entire time. I think both those cars are about a lap short on fuel. I know if you run higher speeds here, get around the track a little bit faster, you can make up a lap, but you know it doesn't cut the fuel mileage off. As you see a couple people in the chat talking about pitting here soon. We may be looking at pit stops coming up in the next couple of laps.
Let's see if we can ride on board here real quick with Cody Nagels to see what it looks like if he's saving now. Baker, we know there's different ways to go about saving. I know different guys have different thoughts on which way is the most efficient. I always felt like the idea of just running, 3/4, maybe a little bit down, more towards half throttle as long as you can is the best. But I'm looking, and it really doesn't look like Cody's saving too much. We're looking at his throttle trace right now. Now, I know some guys, they'll like to get up to the back bumper and put the clutch in, but what was your favorite way of doing it?
Well, I'm not pushing the clutch in whenever I'm on a super speedway race, but probably running about 75%, 80%. That's what they do in real life, and this emulates real life really well with saving fuel. Getting as close as you can to the back bumper, staying as much off throttle time as you can, or half throttle time as you can, and around that 80, 70% is what you're looking for, trying to save as much fuel, especially when you're saving a lap and a half in one run for 20 laps. It's not too difficult, but if you're up front running really hard the whole time, it's hard to save towards the back half.
25, now 24 laps to go here at Talladega in the NSRA season finale. The end is near, and you can start to feel it. We are going to take a quick side-by-side break just before we come to do green flag stops. We'll be right back. Stick with us.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by-request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Looks like we may have had our first pit stop underway here. Looking back to see who it was. Looks like it was Bubba Winningham. Robert Jordan did not pit either. Yep, so Bubba's going to be the only one to go in. That strategy is going to hurt him, but he may have had to based off of fuel. And at this point, you got to probably go 3 to 4 more laps if you want to make it the rest of the way. We'll see who can do it. Baker, we're expecting stops within these next few laps from some of the guys that can't make it. And Cody Nagels, man, you can tell he's really saving with all he's got right here.
And here they come. Leaders coming. Sorry to cut you off. Here come the leaders. Daniel Holloway down.
And all the guys staying out except for...
Huge lockup.
Holloway is not going to stay out. He's the only championship contender to come down. Big lockups. Everybody does get in clean, though. It's just a matter of if they all got in and met pit road speed. Looks like Sadusky's going to be the first one into his box. Go ahead.
Looks like Sandusky got into his box really well. Also came in very hot. He's going to fly through everyone there and get a great pit stop. Looks like he took 4 tires. Oh, I don't understand that. But he had a great pit stop nonetheless.
Yeah, a couple guys. Yeah, maybe not sure what the strategy was there, but you can take at least probably 2 tires. But yeah, I don't know about taking 4. Here we go. Will we see any more pit stops this time? You're going to have to stay out this lap if you want to make it to the finish. Nagels trying desperately. I think Mark Mann is in a beautiful position. Oh, he is. He jumps up to the top. Meanwhile, here comes Cody Nagels. Dawson Wise. Boy, that looked like a sloppy entry. We'll see if they can get it load up in time. Man, they really sent it in. Cody with a little lockup. Dawson with an even bigger one. I think they were able to get down to speed. Baker, I don't know if these guys can make it. Meanwhile, your 3rd championship contender, Mark Mann, he's still out on track.
Mark Mann's in the best position with his teammates. They're going to run a little bit off the pace. They'll be about 2-3 mile an hour off the pace. But the thing is they're going to be good on fuel. They're going to get 61 coming to 62, so they'll be about 19 laps. You can get about 20 laps in the tank, so I think they'll be fine. You're going to watch Cody and them really try and save that fuel as they're coming off pit road now.
And going back up front, we'll see if these three, and it's 3 of them, so these guys not going to run as fast the laps, but then again, Mark Mann, he's pushing, so they should be able to still keep decent pace. Do they come in this time? They do. Here comes Mark Mann, Richard Sanchez, and the 95 as well. That's James Mayer. Do they all get in? They do, nice and clean. And now the race is on. We're going to keep an eye on the pit cam here. I think it's going to be this one to show it all. We'll see how quick these guys can get in and out. Pulling up your track map as well. Looks like Kevin Nagel is saying, can we say number 6 back-to-back? Cody ×2. We'll see. We'll have to see by the end of this thing. Mike Trisco says you put the clutch in on caution lap, Austin. Well, I do know that. I'm not a complete idiot in that sense, but I've certainly seen a couple guys trying it. Kyler Wynn as a prime example in terms of when they're saving fuel and there's a giant checkup. I do see some guys, they'll hold in the clutch for that checkup. Just get out of the throttle and hold in the clutch. But no, I myself would not. Don't really try that too often. Only under caution in the race. I like running 75% throttle, which, Baker, if you're these 3 right here, do you have to worry about running 75% throttle, or can you just go from here? And if you're the other guys, do you still have to save, and if so, how much?
I think the front runners, Holloway, Sandusky, definitely need to save a little more. But the front 3 coming off pit road right now, as they're going to meet the pet on corner exit, they're going to be fine. They're going to be running as hard as they can, trying to get everyone to burn as much fuel as possible. Cody's going to ride, try and save as much as he can. They merge up onto the track here. They get locked up by 3. But unfortunate for Cody, Vicente had a bad stop. He has lost the lead pack, so he's only going to have Dawson Weiss behind him.
And as everybody gets organized, the question is going to be, how long do they stay nice and organized? Quick question for anybody watching the chat tonight. Let me know how the audio mix sounds in terms of the race audio with me and Baker's audio, if everything sounds okay. If one of them sounds too loud or too quiet. The 43, Whitaker, Chris Whitaker, that is, already looking to try to get back to the front. Ooh, the 89 thought about trying to get in front of him. Couldn't quite make it work there. And if a couple guys make some of these other guys push the issue, then how does it work if you're a driver such as Cody Nagels and you have to run a little bit harder to keep the draft? Do you just commit to that second pit stop and get it done as soon as possible here? I mean, is there really any strategy left if you're Cody, or do you just got to save and hope for the best?
I think you just got to save and hope for the best. Looks like Vicente slid through his box on that pit stop. Didn't know that he had slid through his box. Thought he was good for the fuel. Didn't get that too far forward, and it was really unfortunate to lose it back. But it looks like he's trying to get to a point to where he can get hooked up with his teammate a lap down and try and get Cody that win.
So you got Donald Sadusky leading the way, Daniel Holloway in second, Sean Wilder third. Coming back in fourth, it's going to be Les Levy, and rounding out your top 5 is now going to be Chris Whitaker on the outside, who's starting to get some supporters up that outside line going. Looks like the 8 car is going to hop up as well. I believe that might actually be a lap car. It's one of the cars looking to not go a lap down, actually. Dana Osborne currently being scored in 19th. He can hold on to the lead. He shouldn't have to worry about fighting for that lucky dog. And looks like we do have at least 2 guys a lap down as it stands right now. Looking if we have 3. Looks like Bubba Winningham may have went a lap down. Yep, Dana Osborne is actually lap down. I take that back, and so is Robert Jordan. Battle heats up there, but the battle up front starting to heat up. That outside, I'm surprised they just can't get momentum going. Cody doesn't look like he's saving to me, though, Baker. He looks like he's... Oh, never mind. I thought that was Cody that jumped into the outside line. That's the 66. No, Cody is still saving pretty hard. Back single file behind Richard Sanchez right now.
You got Mark Mann also saving fuel. James Meyer saving fuel. Everyone here just trying to make it to the end. It's unfortunate that they have to do this, because as you see, the 11 get really out of shape. 99 right in front of Cody Nagels, but they gather it up. But like I was saying, I think it's real unfortunate for these championship guys. They want that track position being up front. Holloway's taking advantage of it. He's risking it, trying to keep that track position because he knows they can all come down, either top off or maybe save enough fuel under caution to where they can make it.
Here comes a run from the outside line. Going to be 15 laps to go this time. Holloway and Sadusky now going to have to push a little bit harder. Sean Wilder, we know he likes to push, and he is now going to try to push that 8 car right back onto the lead lap. So that is not for position. So actually, maybe that helps Daniel Holloway and Donald Sadusky in terms of if they were trying to save fuel. Just let him go. Let him lead the way. If he gets the lap back, who cares? Save some fuel in the process. Cody's still in the back. I would say back third of this field in the sense of he is actually the third car from the back of it. The 88 of John Guerra, the last one in line, and then Brian Kimbler by himself. So is Vicente Guerrero. You talked about his bad stop, and there's Dana Osborne. Oh, they almost went 3 wide for a second. That looked like it was going to get a little sketchy. David Overstreet in the mix as well. He is currently 4th on the outside. Oh, some contact. We got one car to the inside. Can they hang on? Alex Giffen now in the grass trying to come back up. Got to be real careful right here. Nicely done. Good save for the 99 car.
That was almost disaster for Cody Nagels. Glad he held it to the bottom. And for Mark Mann, it looked like he may have been almost coming up the track whenever that happened, but great job keeping it down there when he gets forced into the grass.
And that was just a little bit of door banging going on. The unfortunate thing for him is that he's going to lose the draft. Going to need a caution. They are coming up on a couple more guys that they're looking to put a lap down. One of them may have been Vicente Guerrero. Couldn't tell from that view if we look at the chase. Yeah, it looks like one of them may indeed be Vicente Guerrero. They're going to catch them probably within the next 2 laps at most. But they have singled out for the first 2-3 rows now again up front. Daniel Holloway currently leading the championship 3 as it stands. Mark Mann 2nd in that battle and Cody Nagels 3rd. And I would say all of them on different strategies still in the sense of Holloway was the guy that was not even really trying for fuel, still isn't trying for fuel. Oh, we got a wreck. Caution's going to come out for this one as the 95 gets turned around up into the wall. And that is going to change everything, throw the fuel mileage out the window. That is not what Mark Mann wanted to see.
Yeah, it's not what anyone wanted to see, especially those front runners. You know, Vicente, however, is going to get his light back. Oh man, it looks like it's another. Is it another net code or no? He just comes down into the right side of him.
Taking a look, see if we can see a good angle up from the TV. Follow first. Ouch, that's a hard hit for the 11 too. Let's look. Didn't really like that angle. Let's try the chopper view. And yeah, he comes down, but Baker, it looks like, at least from the chopper cam, at the same time that the 11 was coming up a little bit here. And that is Mark Mann. I didn't even realize that at the time. One of your championship contenders. You know, it definitely looks like Mark Mann was coming down more than the 11 was coming up, but it does look like the 11 was also coming up. They eventually meet at some sort of halfway point, and then once the 11 gets turned up into the wall, collects the 95, and then Dawson Wise just nowhere to go. Looks like the 88 is going to get involved in it as well. John Guerra just nowhere to go.
Yeah, unfortunate for sure, but you know, that's just how it happens sometimes. People going for the same amount of real estate, and just chaos ensues afterwards. Unfortunate for Mark Mann, but you know, he has those fast repairs in his pocket, or has a fast repair in his pocket. He'll be down to no fast repairs though.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think he used one earlier. This would be his second, assuming he's probably gonna use it. So he's definitely gonna be treading on thin water now. Got to be very careful, but at the same time, with what's gonna probably be under 10 to go, I mean, can you really be careful anymore? I think you got to take the gloves off and go for it. We know Cody Nagels certainly will, but track position is going to make this a fun battle all the way to the finish. 5th caution of the night. Donald Sadusky being scored as your leader. Excuse me. Daniel Holloway in 2nd. They're all going to fill up on fuel. So it worked out for Holloway in the sense of maintaining that track position. Definitely going to help him in the battle off of pit road here. Les Levy in 3rd. Looks like David Overstreet 4th. Richard Sanchez. But it's all going to shuffle out a little differently. Now, some of the guys that may have felt like they were good on fuel there through that wreck decided not to pit. That's what it's looking like. Les being one of them. David, another one of them. So this is going to throw an even bigger wrench into the equation here, Baker.
Yeah, definitely. You see people going to come down, top off, get their fuel. Not sure how many green light checkers we have, but definitely going to help out. Mark Mann's going to come down. Cody Nagels is going to come down. Try and shuffle up that track position, but they're going to get the teammates lined up front and try and get up there.
Logan T in the chat says, haven't been here in a while. Good to be back. And we didn't forget about you, Logan. It certainly is good to see you back. One of the most, I guess you would say, watchers when it comes to Ghost Racing Network. Glad to see you out here, at least just checking in on us on this Sunday night. Now, Baker, the other guy I'd like to get an interview from right here is one of the guys that's maybe trying a little bit of strategy right here. That's David Overstreet. See if we can pull him up, get a quick word.
You and Dirty Sanchez don't seem to work together.
David, this is Austin. Matt up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, you've been running up front, been involved in some early crashes. What's the strategy moving forward with these next 10 laps to go?
I don't have no fast repairs. So I don't really want to be up here, but fuel strategy has got me up here. So we're just going to try to save fuel, at least a couple caution laps, and hope there's no green, white check.
Well, that Busch Light scheme's looking really good out there. That number 46. Hopefully you can find it in victory lane. Play some spoiler today for the championship 4.
Yeah, I'm racing my teammate for like $15, I think. So we're racing for 5th spot in the points. So.
Well, that's good. Hopefully you can get a couple Big Macs for that extra $15.
That's right.
Have a good one, Dave.
All right, thank you.
So it is going to put us 10 laps to go, so we're going to take the 1 to go. So the restart's actually going to be, looks like 9 to go. And we'll see what lane the 62 chooses here, if there is a lane choice. Looks like he might want the outside. Richard Sanchez, he played the safe strategy pretty much the entire night up to this point. But no more. Looks like the gloves are coming off for him as well. He took that fast spray after the damage he had earlier. The car's cleaned up, and he is ready to go for it. A sprint to the finish. And, you know, if you're Daniel Holloway, I know you got enough time. If you're Cody Nagels, I feel like you have enough time. But if you are Cody Baker, do you try to get to that 3rd lane right away here?
You know, I think you try and take the run as much as you can, but it's you got to be patient for sure. You know the 91's going to go 3 wide, so he's going to clog that lane up pretty quickly. So, you know, I may be eating my words, but I think you play the patience, try and shuffle him out to where you can lead that line instead of him.
Racing tonight has been really good, I would say. I mean, hey, 5 cautions. We do races that are half this length and we see double the cautions sometimes. So we'll have to see if these guys can keep it green the rest of the way. David Overstreet's certainly hoping that they will. He's saving fuel right now, and he said he cannot afford to go to any green-white checkers. And everybody else that pitted, they're plenty good to go on fuel, so they are not even thinking about saving. They're going to push it all the way from here. Even if we have those 2 green-white checkers, they'll still be good to go through those. And I'm a little shocked that we didn't get to have a single green flag stop tonight. Again, from what I've heard, that's pretty rare for the NSRA Sunday Select Series. But again, championship races, you've talked about earlier, Baker, guys being more aggressive. A lot of money on the line, especially for first place. So can't blame people for trying any sort of strategy to get whatever they can get right here. Cody Nagels looking to go back-to-back and win 300, but he's going to have to go through Daniel Holloway, who's looking to make it 3. And don't count Mark Mann out just yet. He's inside a row back right now from Daniel Holloway, Daniel Holloway. So we'll see what he can do. Cody Nagels, Man, cannot find the words tonight. Hopefully we find it by the end of this thing, at least for the last lap.
This pace car is going to pull down to Overstreet's going to be leading them to the green flag. Les Levy on his outside, and you got Donald Sadusky lined up behind Les Levy. He's been great up front all day. Like we talked about Richard Sanchez. He said he's going to make some noise here early. Let's see what he can do here in this restart. A little bit of checkup on the back from Robert Jordan, but he's okay. He keeps it rolling.
Green flag is back in the air. 9 laps to go at Talladega. Everybody off through the gears. The 46 of David Overstreet gets a little bit of a better jump, at least down into turn 1. Meanwhile, out back, they are already looking to get 3 wide. There goes Chris Whitaker. Got a couple more takers back here. Cody Nagels, though, as you noted, Baker, going to work on trying to shuffle guys out. He stays to the inside, going to be patient. Sean Lauder now goes 3 wide, and what you got to worry about here is if you're Cody is if too many guys get up in that 3rd lane, then all of a sudden you can't shuffle them out anymore, and that 3rd lane starts to make progress. Still no go yet from Cody, but I think he's going to have to take it right here if Whitaker gets a run.
I think he does, just as you talked about. He goes to the 3rd lane. The 91 stays in line here. 43 is going to give a good shot to Cody. He's going to look top of 4. He doesn't get there. Cody Nagels sideways out of the corner. Oh, my goodness. Great save by him. As you see, the 99 gets into the outside wall. Everyone's really mixing and matching up here. Dawson Weiss gets behind Cody here.
Yeah, it didn't look like to me Cody was taking no for an answer in terms of taking it 4 wide right there on the 91. He wanted to keep the momentum up, and now he does, making that aggressive move. Dawson Wise, his teammate behind him. They'd like to get Vicente up there as well. You see he's just to the inside of Chris Whitaker. But Holloway, the man leading the championship battle, is going to block off Nagels' chances at doing it. He now takes the lead up top. Big push. Can he get clear? And if so, does he decide to pull Cody with him, or does he try to drop down? He is going to drop down right in front of Donald Sadusky. Those two have been working pretty well together. Going to be coming to 7 laps to go this time, and they are 3 by 3. Baker, I would not be surprised.
Oh, let go there. All gonna wreck. Huge wreck. Cody saves it. Daniel saves it.
Mark Manlow is involved. No, he's not. He actually sneaks through. That was a different car. And that might have been the big one. You saw the little bit of a wiggle, potentially from netcode for Donald Sadusky. And he has heavy, heavy front end damage. And now we're going to be looking at a restart with potentially 3 or 4 to go. But let's go back and take a look at what brings out, I believe, your 6th caution of the night. And if you back it up, still looking. And play it nice and slow. The 19 washing up. Good here, good here. Yeah, well, just slightly drifting up, and that's a pretty big net code. And that takes the 19 up into the 6. And after they make some contact checks up, the 91 of Sean Wilder gets into him. That sends him down into a couple guys back up the track, and then they all start wrecking there. The 64 was involved. Chris Whitaker, we talked about Sean Wilder in it as well. Just another tough break. I mean, we've seen probably 2 or 3 wrecks tonight caused by a netcode, Baker. Not much these guys can do about it. Hard racing there.
No, and Sandusky's taking blame. Saved he came up the track. I mean, he did come up the track a little bit, but still, they were both going to keep it together. Fortunate for Cody, he's got major left front damage. I think he comes in here and he takes a fast repair. He's got 2 left with 6 laps to go. Come in, get your quick fast repair, get back on track. Try and make that run to the 3rd lane as fast as you possibly can.
Cody had a pretty gnarly save throw that we'll take a look at in just a minute. One more view of it here.
Cody's going to come down pit road as well.
That's a little bit of a surprise. Maybe he had some damage?
He has some pretty big left front damage from that netcode.
And that would probably explain it. Yeah, you certainly don't want to have that at the end of one of these things. Gonna have to have the fastest car possible. That is going to send him to the back of the championship 3 battle, but again, you can't count him out. You saw just how quick he made his way to the front just then. But let's take a look at the onboard here for Cody. I mean, does a good job saving it in the sense of doesn't want worse damage and have to risk potentially towing it or, just towing it basically. But yeah, he's able to drive out of it. Man, he had to work the wheel for quite a bit. Holloway with no damage. He's clean. He is still in prime position. Seems like things are really going his way late in the going. Les Levy, though, still being scored as your leader. Holloway, of course, 2nd. Richard Sanchez, 3rd. Joshua Gathright, 4th. And Mark Mann, probably the second highest running position he's been up in here tonight, in 5th. Up 12 from where he started. Richard Sanchez, the biggest winner in the top 10, up 17 from where he started. And Cody Nagels all the way back in 12th right now. Going to be starting to the outside of row 6. But guess the good news for him, Baker, is at least he's going to have the outside over the inside. Going to be able to take it 3 wide a lot quicker.
Definitely, and you're going to have teammates with Vicente and Dawson Weiss trying to get up to the front with him as well. So watch for that 3rd lane to have a hellacious run, trying to get to the front. I'm hearing from the race control it's going to be iRacing cautions only at this point. No admin throw after 5 to go. So this is going to be a dogfight to the end here.
Interesting rule. We'll have to see how that ends up working out for these guys. Again, hoping that if we can make it to the white flag, the race will be official. We won't have to worry about iRacing cautions, manual cautions, any of them. But before we get ready to go back green here, we're going to take one more break before we decide a winner in the championship for finale here tonight for the NSRA Sunday Select Series. Stick with us.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Talladega Superspeedway, gearing up for what could be the final restart. Going to be 4 laps to go. Talking about it during break. I don't know if Cody's going to get to the front, Baker. He's got a lot of work and not that many laps, and all the guys ahead of him, they're looking to get that money too, and they're all going to jump 3 wide as quick as possible. I mean, what's his best shot here at it?
I think his best shot is honestly Donald, who's lined up 2 behind him to maybe get to his back bumper. The 43's been working well with him as well. I think Chris and Donald can give him a good shot. He doesn't have to rely on his teammates here to get to the front, but I think he can make the move as fast as he possibly can to get up there.
Chris Akers watching tonight says, let's go Holloway. And back Luke Hollum said, way to save it there, Cody. Zayful Arsel. Couldn't even tell you what that means, whatever that is in the chat. Somebody let me know. Anyway, here we go. Pace car is going to pull off. Row 1, Holloway on the outside. On the inside, the 62 of Levy. Richard Sanchez along with the 89 of Joshua Gathright. Row 2, green flag is back in the air. 4 laps to go to decide who's going to win the championship race.
Big push on the outside line. 89's going to clear Holloway to the bottom. I think he's going to stay up there, stack that line. He knows that that's going to be the line that gets the win here tonight. I think that middle line is going to be flying. 62's clear to the top if he wants it. Cody Nagels, look for him to go 3 wide here out of the corner, try and gain as much position as he can. He doesn't. He splits the 8. He's going towards the middle. 95 fills a hole. That's going to stack up Cody. He has nowhere to go right now, trying to push Mayer along.
The biggest thing for Cody right here is going to be what he preaches to a lot of guys is patience. I know he wants it bad. I know it's tempting, but trying to be too aggressive here may not help you out. You just kind of got to let the lines flow until one of the C's part and it opens up. That's when you make your move to strike first. But Mark Mann, on the other hand, he's trapped on the bottom, and he's seeing Daniel Holloway in front. I think that 04, if he wants a shot at the championship, Baker, he's going to have to find a way to the middle or to the top here, and he's going to have to find it soon. Cody Nagel still moving his way through the field. He is now up to the 5th car in line on the middle. Looking to make more progress. Contact!
He's going to get down into Cody. Cody gets wrecked.
Oh, no, Cody saves it for the most part, but that's going to be damage. No, he spins now. Caution's out. Oh, man, that's going to be pretty heavy damage for the 6, and this is going to send us into overtime. Cody cannot be too pleased right now. Not Baker does. I think he still has a faster pair.
Yeah, I think he still has 1 faster pair, but that's unfortunate because James Meyer just dropped out, and that's probably going to be one of his best hope to get to the front.
And that was one of those ones, too, where now he's going to lose all that track position that he was working on, and he's going to have less laps to try to make it back up. See what Cody can do, but before we do that, let's take a look at where it all went wrong here. You saw somebody get sideways, and then it's from there. Looks like it's going to start somewhere with the 95 and the 88, 95 up the track in this picture, but let's see how it starts. And, ooh, just can't tell from this view. Does Cody give him a push or does he get loose? Can't look just yet. And playing it slow. No push there, no push there. Looks like just slight netcode again, Baker. They were running really tight. The 88 trying to get a little side draft for the 95. It sucks him up into him and then just loses it from there, trying to save it. Gets back into the 88. Now it finally sends around down into Cody Nagels. That sends Cody down the track into the 66. David Overstreet, unfortunately, he looks like he was involved in that one as well. There's Robert Jordan. That is a tough break for quite a few of these guys that have been having a good race, and now we're at the point where we are starting to drop a couple of them out that no longer have faster pairs.
Yeah, a couple people disconnected there. James Meyer, John Guerrera, they have disconnected. They parked it for tonight.
There's the hit for Cody Nagels. The right front, that's where it worries you the most. Then he got tagged in, I believe, the left door, maybe the right door as well. Take one more view of it here from the wall cam. And that's the nature of the beast. That's what you're going to get here at the end. I mean, I think out of the 7 cautions we've had, 4 of them so far have been netcode. Not much you can do. I feel like it's one of those things. Some nights it's worse than others, and it still does depend on what exactly the drivers are doing at the time, and netcode can cause it. But I don't put that one on the fault of necessarily anybody. Mark Mann being scored in 5th, still trapped on the bottom. Not sure that that's the place he wants to be, especially when you got Daniel Holloway leading the outside line. It looks like Cody Nagel's being scored in 12th as he makes his way all out of the pits. He used that fast repair, and you know he's got to be feeling a little nervous. The heart rate's got to be up a little bit right now because he knows he's got a tough task in getting to the front while also not getting in another wreck because he doesn't have another fast repair. We'll see how he can make it happen here. It's going to be a tough one.
The good news is he's on the outside line. He's going to have a teammate right behind him. They're going to have to make the moves as fast as they can out of 2, trying to get up there and get to the front. But yeah, not a lot of time to get up there, and a lot of hungry cars in front of them. They're going to be trying to go 3 wide as well.
And for any of the money racing fans out there, if you're curious, Ron Morris Jr. has a money race going up at 10:50 Sunday Funday. Go check it out. And it looks like, oh my goodness, the chat has gotten full since the last time that we checked it out. Looks like Vamps is in here. Says good evening. Been watching for a while. First time comment. Good to see you in here, Vance. Glad you're having good evening yourself. We are enjoying ourselves up here in the booth, trying to see who's going to win this thing. It says keep up the work. I cannot read this the way the thing goes. Keep up good work. Love the commentary. Well, we also appreciate that. Thank you very much. BK Anderson says tough break, Cody. Luke Coleman says just unlucky. And we will see. A lot of Cody fans tonight, they like to see a big comeback right here if he can pull off and go back to back. Still $300 on the line. How about one of the non-championship 4 drivers taking the big money? That's what Les Levy's looking to do right here. Had a pretty strong run for most of the night. We'll see if he can get the job done. I think we'll get the one-to-go signal this time, Baker, but only 2 green-white checkers. So, you know, we're starting to slowly but surely creep into the picture, the chance of ending this race under caution. We sure hope that's not the case.
Yeah, no, I think we're going to run this green. You know, the Xfinity cars are a little bit easier to get through that first lap. You'll see out of 2, you'll see the move to that high line. You'll at least get to the white flag. Chaos probably ensue in turn 1 and 2, but we'll definitely make the white flag here, I think.
Hopefully. Looking at your top 3 super chatters from last time, Tucker McClendon, I believe, still leads the way. Second, I think I might have to look back. Josh Oshevsky's on there, and I think Baker's mom might still be hanging around in the 3rd spot. If you guys ever curious and leaving us a super chat, we certainly appreciate it. $1, $2, whatever you got. Let us know that you're enjoying it just a little bit more. But man, Daniel Holloway, seems like everything came together for him about halfway through this race on forward. And I think he's got to be feeling pretty comfortable here. He doesn't need to do anything too crazy. You know, he's got Markman trapped on the inside, and he's got Cody Nagels looking like 6 rows back on the outside. I think the only time he has to get worried here is if he sees that 6 car as the lead car on that 3rd lane. And the only other thing would be is if somebody were to get in front of the 21. That's where all of a sudden you can start to find yourself get shuffled back in the pack. But if he can stay leading, which I think he has a good chance at, a lot of times guys respect the championship drivers, and they'll stick with one if they're right behind. I don't know. I like my pick here in the 21 car, Baker.
Yeah, I think he's in the best position here. Sanchez is going to be supporting as well, trying to get up to the front, get to that middle line. But Man's going to be looking to try and get up top as fast as he can. Try and get in a position to make Holloway make a mistake. And that's what I'm going to be looking for here. But look for Dawson Weiss and Cody Nagels to be coming to the top 3 wide as soon as this green flag comes out.
Well, I believe we've already ran our 80 laps because, of course, this being overtime, I'm going to put us 2 laps over, hoping that we can finish it and wrap it up right here. Les on the inside, Daniel on the outside leading the championship battle. Mark Mann not too far behind in 5th. And can Cody Nagels mount one more big comeback for the season? Going to be starting in 12th, but he's on the outside. He's got to go in a hurry. He does have Dawson Wise behind him. Could be the final restart. Back into the Geico restart zone. 2 laps to go. Baker, take us away.
Green flag in the air. 62 gets a good jump. Holloway gets a better jump on the outside line. That's a great stack up on the bottom line. You got Holloway leading the outside line with the 89 pushing just like a mirror image. You see Cody Nagels already jumping to the top 3 wide. You see the 99 jumping up along with Donald Sadusky. That's going to try and block off the run. That's going to give Man the opportunity to get up to the middle line like he wanted to. He's gonna want to get behind the 99 as we go down the backstretch.
Checkers or wreckers, heroes or zeros. How can Cody Nagels find his way to the front? Going to try to shuffle those 2 out, but unfortunately for him, looks like Mark Mann. Where did this move come from? All of a sudden, he's on the top lane now. Daniel Holloway still leads the middle. On the bottom, it's Les Levy who is going to win it. We're coming to the white flag this time. Can we make it?
Out of turn 4, 6-2 leading the bottom, leading the championships. Holloway, you've got side-by-side battles with the contenders and Mann and Nagels. Nagels going to try and clear the top. He does. Mark Mann's going to have to give him a shot. He can't get to his back bumper. There's just no organization on the top lane. Dawson Weiss comes to the top lane. White flag in the air. 21's up top.
Baker, it set itself up perfectly with 1 lap to go. Here comes Cody Nagels up top. He's got a big push from his teammate Dawson Wise. They're going to have to make the final charge. Watch for a block here from Daniel Holloway. If he takes the 3rd lane, there he goes. He knows that all he's got to do is hold off Cody. Cody gives him a big shot. They're trying to all gather it up. Big bump and bang, and Holloway loses it. Down to the apron he goes. He's going to wreck. It's over for him. This is going to be the official race. Nagels out in front, but Mark Mann looks for more. Now he dives down to the bottom behind the 62. Who's going to win it?
Out of turn 4, they're wrecking behind. This is going to be a battle between Mark Mann. Mark Mann trying to give a push to Levy. Cody Nagels is leading. Oh, Dawson Weiss gets turned. Mann goes up. He gets turned. Cody Nagels going to win this championship. Oh, my goodness.
Cody Nagels at the line. He wins the championship and the race. Oh my goodness, that was the craziest last lap I think I've ever seen for a race. Oh my goodness. How did he do it, Baker? He made the comeback and he gets the win. Oh, are you kidding me? Cody Nagels. And we got to go to the driver cam for that one. There you go. Man, oh man, I wish we had some sound on it, but he is excited. Wait till we get his reaction. Shaking the seat, shaking the camera. And I think I need a breather after that one. That was absolutely insane.
Oh, man, just unfortunate for Holloway. Looks like he had a little bit of netcode after he got pushed down by Cody. Cody was trying to make it to the top 4 wide, just mistimed it, pushed him down the track a little bit, and then once he tried to line up with the 89, it netcoded him. That's pretty unfortunate.
Cody Nagels going to start burning it down. The celebration is going to last for a while for this one. Wins $300 and goes back to back. Man, oh man. Had Dawson Wise for a little bit. Didn't quite have him at the end. And it's good to hear what all went on. That was a crazy, crazy sequence on the last lap. In fact, we got to go back and take a look at it here because, I mean, I couldn't even break it all down live. There was just way too much stuff going on. It's going to all start on the backstretch here, where we are going to see Cody make the run. He had been building it up for about the last lap and a half. This is where it's all going to come to life right here. Take a look from the chopper view. And you know, if you're Holloway, Baker, you had to make that block. You didn't have a choice. You know Cody's got the run. You worry he gets clear. And did he maybe make it a little too early, too late? I mean, it looks to me like it was in time, but Cody just gave him a shot.
Yeah, I think he made it a little bit too early, but you definitely still have to make that move. I think he needs to come up and give no opportunity for Cody to make any sort of move but to push him. And it just gave Cody the opportunity to try and offset, get off to the 4th lane, and he had such a big run. No one's checking up there coming to the line. It's a championship on the line. You're not lifting. It's not happening. So I applaud Cody and Holloway for making that move, and a great race. I really thought Mann had a shot there once Cody lost his help, but Mann went to the middle lane, and it kind of stalled out that run.
And they had gathered it up initially, but pretty soon after they gathered up, there was a little bit of netcode that finished them all off, and then here's Mann looking for one final move into the tribal. Unfortunately, he gets turned, and then the drag race to the line, and the icing on the cake here is getting the win on top of winning the championship for battle. They bang to the line, but Cody Nagels edges them out by 1/100th of a second. Man, you talk about a classic drag race. It does not get much better than this. Man, oh man. All right. We are going to go get interviews from your top 3, including your championship winner, Cody Nagels. Stick with us. We'll be right back live at Talladega. Back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Couldn't find all of your top three, but we found two of them. We're going to start with your second place finisher, Les Levy. Les, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy for you, Austin. How you doing tonight?
Good. Well, that was a crazy race coming to the finish. You had the lead for the last couple restarts. Man, coming to the line there, what more do you think you could have done to try to inch the 6 car out?
I don't know. You know, it's Cody. He's going for the money. Otherwise, I probably just should have turned him. But it's good to see him win that championship.
It was a fun race to call up here. In terms of teammates, you had a couple guys you were working with there, but at the end, teammates were kind of off that last lap. What was going through your mind before the big wreck?
You know, you wish you have those teammates up there, but at that point, you're just hoping the other guys aren't your anti-teammates, and you just got to hope they're push you and hold straight and see what you can finish at.
Well, congrats on that second place finish. Going to be going home with a decent sum of money here tonight. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Well, Austin, first off, love having you guys join us here at NSRA, so appreciate everything you guys did for tonight and up for the rest of the season. Got to love the other admins in here, Cody and everybody else, but really got to do a huge shout out to David O. He took this league over this season and really turned it around. We've had some great racing and, more important, a lot of respectful racing. So I want to thank them. Got to thank everybody on Checkered Flag Motorsports and, of course, the Ricky Bobby Foundation for People Challenge to Go Fast.
Well, thank you for talking to us again here tonight. And I'll tell you what, I'm excited for next season based off of what we saw here. To wrap us up tonight, we'll see you next week to start us off.
Well, I got to be on the road. I got to be down in Indianapolis with the teams for real racing, so I will not make this one.
Well, I wish I could say that I knew what you're talking about, but I'd stick to a virtual racing. Hey, that sounds fun. That sounds like a blast. We'll see you when you come back.
Yeah, Pete, dude, I'll be there, Austin. Be good, man. Be safe, and thank you for doing it.
Thank you. I'll tell you what, I don't really know what to say to Les. That's pretty cool. We have a couple guys in here that get to do the real life stuff, and I'd like to go broadcast a real race, but man, this one was just as fun. And that brings us to our winner tonight. But hold on, before we introduce him, we got to go ahead and introduce him properly. Give me just a minute here. Empty this all out, head to the interview screen. We saw the reaction as soon as the race was over from Cody Nagels. He's excited, goes back-to-back, second championship, $300 won. Cody, how you feeling?
Oh, man, that was a wild finish. I did not think I was going to be able to get that done, but the teammates come in clutch, and I'm not able to even think about getting up front without the help of Dawson Vince, Robert, Harold Rothery, everyone that I ran with tonight, man. That was just picture perfect restart for us and how we communicated to make that happen.
Well, that last lap was just crazy. I mean, the amount of stuff going on there. Break it down for us.
Well, we were getting the run in the third, and I'm anticipating that Holloway, of course, is going to try to throw the block and kill our momentum. It was a good move by Holloway, and I still seen a gap to take him 4 wide. I think when I tried to go to his outside, I apologize, Holloway, for getting into you. I think I clipped his right rear a little bit, which got him loose when I was trying to maintain the momentum. It looked like he saved it, but then I think he got spun under him. So I would have rather raced Holloway clean and had that, you know, I didn't want him to wreck. I'd have rather got to the line with all of us clean and even made for a better finish. But it was, the run was there. I was taking it. I see the hole to go 4 wide. I can't be pushing Holloway with a championship on the line. I feel like I have to try something.
Well, certainly did. And once you guys had both gathered it up, there was a little bit of net code after that. So I would say no harm, no foul, at least from what we saw up here in the broadcast booth. Well, before we let you go to enjoy your winnings and your trophy tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
I want to thank you, Austin, for coming aboard with NSRA. I want to thank all of Limitless, Robert Jordan, Vince, Dawson Wise, and Harold Rothery was running with us tonight because he was running for the 5th through 8th, so he had money on the line as well. So we were all trying to take care of each other there at the end. And I want to congratulate everyone that made the Final Four. I didn't think it was going to be me winning the championship with how the last couple cautions it took place. I didn't think I had much of a chance, but I said I'd go down swinging, and I had a chance to. I seen the light at the end of the tunnel to potentially take the lead, so I had to go for it. And for the race win, I knew Les was going to win it, so I had to trade paint with him to have a shot at it. So I apologize for that 4X, but I grew up watching Dale Earnhardt. Not trying to necessarily race dirty, but he would do anything to win a race. And if I'm going to take from anyone at a super speedway, it's that man.
Well, great race. And I'll tell you what, that was a phenomenal post-race interview. Thanks again for talking to us, and we will see you next season for the startup next week.
Thank you, Austin. I appreciate it, man.
That is your winner tonight, Cody Nagels. We will send him back to his teammates to celebrate. We will go over your top 3. Baker did have to leave us a little bit early as he had other arrangements that he had to make to. But looking at the results here tonight, the finishing order. Go ahead and bring it up now. The man that got the job done tonight, Cody Nagels, race winner and season champion. Second championship here for the NSRA Sunday Select Series. Les Levy comes in second, Brian Kimbler third, Vicente Guerrero fourth, Bubba Winningham in fifth, Chris Whitaker sixth, Mark Mann finishes seventh, Dawson Wise and eighth, Sean Wilder ninth, and Dana Osborne rounding out your top 10. How about back in 11th? Joshua Gathright 12th is going to be Len McNeese, David Overstreet in 13th, Alex Giffen 14th, Daniel Holloway 15th. Tough break the end for him. Richard Sanchez 16th, Harold Rothery in 17th, Donald Sadusky 18th, Robert Jordan in 19th, James Mayer finishes 20th, and John Guerra rounding us out for 21 cars here tonight. Well, I'll tell you what, first race here broadcasting for the NSRA Sunday Select Series, it did not disappoint. That was an absolute blast to call with my co-host Matthew Baker. I will be back next season. Again, still working on some little things here and there, but at least for the start of the season, it will be here on Ghost Racing Network. Thank you all so much for coming out. BK said it was an amazing finish, should submit it to August top 10s. Yeah, I certainly agree. That would probably make the list. Says great racers in this league and top-notch broadcasting by Ghost Racing Network. Well, we appreciate it. We will see you guys next Sunday night. Until then, enjoy your night.